asked.
Speak.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, proof of public notice.
Notice wasn't given.
Thank you, sir. No public comments today, so we will move into the committee reports. Start with PPC.
Sure. PPC met on August 10th, which was a Monday at 5 o'clock. We discussed a couple different things. One is the personnel report, which is in there. And before anybody goes too crazy, there was a band. Was it ensemble in school or is it a band? Camp. So there were a lot of band transactions where we had a bunch of band teachers here. So don't be surprised by it. It's a very cool thing to have in the district and in the school. So that's on the consent agenda. We have both the student parent handbook and the employee handbook on there with the updated YOLO links and information. That's in the consent agenda as well today. And then there was a discussion regarding meeting changes with the upcoming school board meeting next month. And I don't know if there was anything that came out of that piece, but I didn't see it on the agenda. So I believe we're moving forward with that date and time. Yep. But it was just a discussion on what the rules are, what the statutes were. So we talked about what state statutes and what those rules were, and then we were going to look at those later on. And then there was a very neat section regarding student clubs. Is that in your presentation
yes,
today?
Yes, we're going to talk about that in.
Perfect. I won't steal your thunder, then I'll leave it there for you. But it was a real good meeting regarding all those topics.
Thanks, Chris. Matt, finance?
We met the same day as them, I think in the morning for finance. Went through spending and financial statements and all that's in order. Patrick informed us, I think our annual audit is coming up, I don't know if they've started, but he's been getting ready for that.
Yep.
So that's on track. We talked a little bit about not transportation, but the kind of the crosswalk out here, which there's been some meetings on, and Patrick and maybe Tina as well met with the county to talk about some options, which I think is on our agenda. So we've talked more about kind of just the financial impact of some of the options that they're talked about. So we spent some time on that, and then as you guys know, next month is when we present the annual budget, or at least a draft annual budget to the committee, or community, so it's a larger meeting there. I think the one thing we did talk about that's relevant there is that we've got this this 10-year capital plan committee that's kind of being pulled together. You know, in years past, when Patrick has set the budget, he's basically said, like this past year, it's like, okay, we're gonna put new carpeting in this school, and we're gonna do the paving in the parking lots and all that, and that's gonna cost, I'm just making up numbers, $200,000, and then we're gonna put $200,000 into in savings for our capital plan, or for our capital budgeting account. Not having the capital plan, he doesn't feel comfortable, nor do we think it makes sense for him to try to figure out what that order is. So I think our recommendation is gonna be for this budget cycle that we just budget an amount for capital improvements and not earmark it for this is going to savings and this is going to particular projects. And then we kind of modify that or update that as we kind of get through that plan and figure out kind of our priority order for improvements.
Makes sense.
Can I ask a question regarding that?
Yeah.
Are you earmarking out of different budget buckets or something out of like 50% out of here, 50% out of capital improvements versus the regular, or are you just doing a big giant number?
Well, what I was planning on doing is taking a look at what did we spend this year on actual projects, and then looking at what did we do as far as a contribution, and then looking at a number around there. It can ebb and flow from there, but until like Matt said, until you guys have weighed in on what those priorities are, I don't think it's right for me just to say, hey, the next thing we should do is X. And then the committee decides, yeah, we don't think X is the next thing that's the highest priority item. So we can leave it fairly open. And the other piece is, not that we want to do it this way, but we could just earmark a certain dollar amount for Fund 46. We could do a budget revision anytime, you guys can approve those, and we could spend that during the year, and if we don't spend it during the year, we could use that as a contribution amount.
And you don't like that route though, right?
Well, it doesn't bother me, I just wanna be cognizant of what message it sends to the taxpayer.
There's some concerns, like if we just said, like, I think if we just say last year we spent $600,000
Yeah.
between savings and actual projects. If we come into that meeting and say, hey, we're gonna save $600,000 next year, we concern as community members, but you're now over $2 million in this capital account.
Yeah.
When are we gonna stop throwing money in there and taking my tax dollars and parking them there? So I think that's, however we decide to do it, it just needs to be articulated why we're doing and what we're doing. So people understand where it's going, but I don't know if this was part of your question, but like, we haven't pulled from our capital account to fund anything, at least since I've been on the board for the last 2 or 3 years.
No.
So this is really out of the operating, general taxpayer funds, which we use to do improvements all the time, so. It's just a matter of, as I said, in years past, he's had 3 or 4 projects, big dollar projects, kind of earmarked. And that's when he can say, yeah, the quotes came in on the paving and they were 200 and I budgeted 225, so now we've got an additional cushion. We won't have that set up as of at least September, but it's something we can revise once that committee gets further along and kind of prioritizing things.
I think it's really just a matter of putting the cart before the horse and trying to make sure that we don't just assume, hey, these are the priorities. Maybe they're not the priorities, maybe when we dig into it a little bit deeper, through committee work, it's, no, we would really like to do X and Y, and we don't really think Z is a priority, maybe that's a 2-year down the road project. So that, I don't wanna handcuff us, and I don't want to speak too soon at the same time.
So is this potential committee holding you up from actioning?
Well, I mean, I can go off what the Findorf study tells me. To say it's holding me up, in one hand, yes, it is, but the way I think about it is, do we just do the work or do we do the work right? That's really where I'm coming at it from.
The reality is, if something breaks, we're gonna fix it, right?
Yeah.
What's holding up is if there was some kind of thing that's not broken, but we wanna put it on the priority order, that's not gonna start until we decide that's the priority.
There's still a number of, these are capital improvements that come out of this fund, there's still probably some improvements that come out of the regular fund.
Oh, yeah, there's
And obviously the capital fund can go deeper if it's budgeted properly and through that process, you only have a limited amount you can do through the regular fund.
Yeah, I mean, cause you're working within your annual allotment.
Right.
But, I mean, the last 2 years, we've been able to accomplish significant projects. I mean, this past year, off the top of my head, is probably 650 outside of the transfer. Probably about $1 million last year, between actual projects completed and the 350,000 and change we put into the fund. Yeah,
This idea is, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood, there may be money earmarked for capital improvements that aren't.
and depending on how it's received, obviously the final budget doesn't get approved until October. Obviously, it's your decision as the board, so you provide the feedback and you say, yeah, I don't like that number, I'd like something less than that number, I'd like something greater than that number.
Or more can come out of this account to be
Correct,
used properly, I get that too.
Yeah,
Okay, I just was trying to figure out the whole bucket thing, cause I know
Yeah.
there's a pool that we can dip into if we do it properly. But I
Yes,
do
yeah,
think
that
we should
can-
plan that we have it regularly
So-
as well.
so our operating budget, through our operating budget, we can do really two things. We can fund current year projects, or we could fund future year projects in way of transfer to the Fund 46. What we've done the last 2 years is a combination of both. We've done some significant during the year projects within our operating budget, but we've also managed to significantly bolster the Fund 46 balance to the point that we're now up over 2 million. So that's a larger conversation. Do we wanna back off on some of those Fund 46 contributions and focus more heavily on current year projects? I mean, I'm open to whatever feedback.
I think that's what that committee's supposed to figure out.
Has there been any interest in that committee?
No.
Just, yeah, like, I would like to just go back to old process then.
Okay.
And let's just keep the ball moving, I don't
Okay.
wanna wait for something that might not exist.
Well,
I agree.
I'm going to put together a budget based on the priority list Greg and I put together, and that's what I'm gonna present to you guys.
Perfect.
And then that'll be our starting point, and if we wanna, again, we can make changes.
Yeah.
You guys hold the cards to a budget revision. If you wanna see something different, even mid-year, that can happen.
Right, yeah, I just don't want you waiting until the bottom of the
Yeah.
ninth and then creating additional work for yourself.
Well, all I was gonna do when what Matt was saying is just earmark a chunk of funds to be determined later.
Yeah,
I don't love the idea, but I also don't love having me being judge, jury, and executioner of, hey, this is what we're gonna do here, and it is what it is. Whereas I'm not a taxpayer in this community, I'm not on the board, I hold none of those positions. Maybe a bad example.
I probably dialed down your line below, so I apologize, but I just was
Oh, you're good.
by that piece of it, so, thank you.
That's it for finance.
cool, thanks Matt. Let's see here, now we have the consent agenda. See, we have monthly voucher and purchasing card report, we have the minutes from the last meeting, personnel report, donations, and then we have the employee handbook and student handbook. HLEF came through this month, pretty big, we got 3 donations, one $2,500 for the whale experiment. Another $2,500 for 10 DC scholarships for $250 each, it looks like. And then $300 for 10 carpet sweepers. Alright, so looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda if there's no discussion items.
So moved.
Second.
Alright,
Just a moment.
Schwab, was that a second?
Yep.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just turn touch screen. Now, we are into new business, up for discussion is seclusion and restraint data.
So each year, this report comes out, and Lisa put together through the help of the administrators and Maureen to put together some data points. And basically this is a discussion as, we just are required by law to tell you how many seclusions and how many restraints we had. And I'll let her kind of talk a little bit about the difference between those, and sometimes we've had some people in the past get confused as to what the difference between seclusion and restraint. You hear those words and sometimes it's scary in a medical term, like I remember Amy Harker Murray was like, restraint, like I think of restraint as a doctor, like, so you just kind of try to make sure people understand what that is and where we're at.
So the state requires all districts to keep track of any incidents of seclusion restraint for the school year and then report it to them. And I have indicated on the report how many we've had, and so upon review of the reports that I get to see and working with the students, seclusion means that a student was restricted from a space. So in a situation where you deem them to be unsafe. So in this situation, I can recall that it might have been 15, 20 seconds where it was just a quick, no, like, hey, you're not safe right now. When you're calm and regulated, you can like walk out in the hall, right? So it's not in these situations in a particular space or a room. It is just, you've slowed them down, but because you've restricted them, you have to report it. And other than where we might place our students in alternate settings, they have to tell us how many, and then we have to report them under our school. So under that situation, when we place the student out, that facility had to do a physical restraint on a child. So a physical restraint means, and again, in this situation, it was when you restrict movement. So restricting movement would be in any situation where it is, you've held them for a little bit to just maintain them to be calm. And in this situation, I believe it was under 30 seconds or so. It was an altercation that the staff felt they just needed to hold him until it was broken up, and then they let it go, but they reported it. So again, things that we might not think we need to report, we do. We need to document those things for anything, because at any point in time, you have to let families know. So then families are notified, so the families are notified within a certain amount of time, and then the state requires us to report it on an annual basis, so. And we have no concerns at this point in time for any of them. Anytime a student is that, I get the report right away and we debrief and the family is notified immediately as well.
So I don't know if you clearly understood that there were 2 of those incidents that occurred at outplacements.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes, so you all understood, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that you all heard that correctly.
Is that the same, I get that they're different ages, so it's not the same kid, but is it the same location?
No, we have 2 students that are outplaced in a different school, and each of those children had an incident that required
But
that,
they're
so
like
2 different
not-
locations.
They're not, yep.
And just so you know, alternate locations, that is again imminent danger to self or others as well. And both of those facilities use UCARA, and it is foam cushions that they use as a first response if a child is coming after them. But in these situations, the student was going after somebody else and they had to intervene, so then you can't use the mat, right? Again, both very quick, families know about it, and it's okay.
Any questions, concerns, thoughts?
No, not at all. I mean, the numbers, good, bad, or indifferent, they're low, so I mean, that
Right.
looks good to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's for the safety of that student as much as for the safety of others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now, don't get me wrong, students are able to take breaks and regulate, so you might see kids wandering and taking breaks, but that's not seclusion or restraint, right? So they are welcome to do those things to regulate.
And I do know in the last 2 years, this district has taken a lot to help teachers and help avoid these situations as well to even get to that point. So I applaud the staff for all that as well.
Thank you.
All right, Tina, you're up.
Yes, excellent. Oh my goodness, we are less than 2 weeks away. I can't even believe it. We have so much to be excited about and so much that we've been working so hard over the summer to get ready for, to welcome our students back. You guys just got to firsthand have the opportunity to see a couple of things with that hydroponics lab and the robotics spaces. It's not simply new rooms or new programs. These are things that we want learning to look like. Kids creating, questioning, problem solving, collaborating, all the things that we've talked about within our strategic plan, discovering what they are capable of. We're also looking really at that student-centered thinking and how it's happening throughout the district. And so I've got a couple things that I just want to highlight here for you just to kind of bring it all back to kids, right? Portrait of a Graduate is moving into POG 2.0, POG as they call it. We're going beyond defining what we want for our graduates and asking how do we know they know? And that's a big ask for them. How do students demonstrate it, apply it, and own it? Our Portrait of a Graduate work has actually earned statewide recognition and attention. Just last week, Thursday, I attended, after being invited, Hartland-Lakeside, to join the DPI and educational experts in a small group. It was like a round table, and we were the only K-8 district represented. It was a wonderful conversation, and it was all around that work of Portrait of a Graduate. So much so that I have had the opportunity to see what the state is trying to put together and did a side-by-side matchup, and we are 95% within what the state is already, trying to put together and looking to put out to statewide here this year at some point. We have had conversations, and they've been invited, and I'm hopeful that they come to see our teams in action on Thursday for our PD here at Hartland North Shore Middle School. We're bringing our 4K through 8th grade teachers together to do vertical alignment in 7 teams based on our themes to really dig in and ask the questions. They're first going to reflect on what did success look like last year, and how did we do that? What went well? What didn't? Kind of that. Good, bad, and keep kind of thing. And it really good stuff. Trash, tweak, and treasure, that's what I call it. I was trying to come up with it. And they're gonna do that as groups and then present to the full group, and then we're gonna ask them to go back into their small groups and identify how do we know they know. And one thing that we discovered is because we are a K2, 3, 5, 6, 8 building, what does a 2nd grader look like? What does a 5th grader look like? And then what does an 8th grader look like? Previously, we were asking what does an 8th grader look like leaving our district. Now we want to go back to 2nd grade. What does that 2nd grader need to have? So from kindergarten through our 4K through 2nd grade, what are some things that we need to do? And then 3-5, what do we need to do? And 6-8 to ultimately culminate into that person who is going to go on to the next wonderful experience that they possibly can. We are looking at strengthening our 4K through 8 continuum, doing a whole lot more with that vertical alignment. Instead of thinking about what am I as a 4th grade teacher and what do they need in 4th grade, what do they need to be ready for 4th grade, what do they need in 4th grade, and what do they need beyond 4th grade to be ready for 5th grade. And so that's our big focus. We're strengthening that intervention support with literacy, math, coaching, student services like you heard about earlier tonight, identifying what students need earlier and responding with intention. Listening to our students, many of the new experiences that they're going to have this year are straight out of the mouths of babes, as they say. We talked a little bit in PPC about clubs. We started, John Fox, the new principal, started the school year last year. There were 6 clubs in the middle school. We are offering 17 next year based on what students are looking for just at the middle school alone. North and South are following suit, and they have created all of them websites where parents can scroll through and sign their kids up for different clubs. Clubs are not happening just after school clubs. We're doing morning clubs, like a 7 a.m. club, for some of our students who need to get those wiggles out before they get going into school, and we're excited about that opportunity. And Mr. Fox will actually be very involved, and I may go shoot some hoops with y'all too, so sign up for that. And then we've just got a plethora of other ideas and new things coming to life. And it's all because of what those students are looking for, what they need to experience. And then we continue to prioritize safety. Again, you heard about it earlier. I am so impressed with the tabletop discussions and exercises that we have done and that we continue to work for protocols. And you heard about that, being prepared, not scared, right? Being prepared for it, not imminent, but what are we gonna do? We've got great teams. Andy is doing a great job. She's our school nurse. She's providing, support to these teams. Chief Misko and his team joining forces with us, everybody being trained in BTAM. It's at a new level. Our system of safety is at a new level. We have our own new communication process within our team, and we're really excited about that. So I think what is the most exciting thing about all of this is we aren't finished, right? We're not finished. We've actually just begun, and we are now just kind of pulling things together. So what do we want for our kids is what we started this whole thing with. What do we want for our kids, right? That was the whole thought. Then we moved to how do we intentionally create those experiences, and now we're looking at that. How will we know every child has experienced it, growing from it, and demonstrating it. And that's what we're doing here. I can't wait to see the future of Hartland-Lakeside. We already have come so far in the great work that they're doing, and our staff are incredible. That I think was the unique thing with our conversation with DPI at the state level and all of those. It seems to be wanting to be more top down, and I just don't think, I think it needs to be ground up. And I really believe that just like in literacy and math, that our foundation starts K2, 4K through 2, and we've got to build that and build it and build it and build it and keep going. And we do that better than anybody, I think, when we start to think about literacy and math. That's why we're at the top of the tier. Why not do it for everything, right? So I'm really excited about the work. The teachers are really excited. Our administrative team is excited, and the state's excited to work with us. And so we're really proud of that. So again, just student focused, staying student-centered in the work that we do. This is all great, and all of our policies, all of our processes and procedures and compliance and governance and all that stuff, super important, not taking that away from you. But the reason we're here is because of the kids, and I thank you for that.
Love it. Thanks, Tina. All right, Patrick.
All right. So first thing I got is a financial report. With the finance committee, we walked through general activity for the month. As far as activity goes, it's a really slow month. It starts to pick up a little bit towards the end as ordering for the new year starts to kick off. We finished the month as far as cash in bank with about $65,000 in operating checking, about 4.48 in Fund 10 operational savings. You'll notice that dipped a little bit based on that contribution to our Fund 46 capital improvement plan savings, which is now at about 2.15 million. Lastly, the North Student Activity Account sits with about 8,000. So all in, we finished the month with about 6.7 million cash position. In a few days, we'll receive our last property tax payment in the amount of roughly 2.1. So that'll help bridge the gap and keep us in a real solid position to start the new school year. Did anybody have questions on anything as far as monthly finances, voucher, vendor reports, anything like that?
Financial report still says 6:30 on that cover sheet when it's in the consent agenda. I know that we had talked about it at the finance meeting. So if you go up to 8B,
okay.
monthly voucher and purchasing card report, so it's for the public.
Oh, yep, I will make sure that gets updated.
I know that the report underneath says 731, but just don't want to confuse anyone.
The voucher, yep.
Yeah, so the monthly financial report, that front cover page says 6:30.
The monthly report?
Sorry, you were in the right spot.
Okay, the voucher.
Yeah.
Yep, the monthly voucher.
Yep.
Yep, I'll make sure that gets updated, my apologies. Anything else that you guys saw that you had questions or concerns? As far as capital improvements go, just moving on to the next agenda item, if you guys don't have questions. To be quite honest, like we talked earlier, I've been kind of holding off on really moving that process forward. Based on our discussions, what my plan is as part of the budget, I'm gonna prioritize 2 or 3 items that have been identified by Greg and I after kind of what we went through. I'll bring those forward in September as part of the budget process, and we can talk through that. Look at kind of general ideas surrounding those, dollar amounts surrounding those, and then see where that discussion takes us. But that'll be part of that budget presentation in September. But not a ton to report on. I've taken a little walk around. I know Tina's been in most every building. I have to give Greg and his team some definite credit. Buildings are looking fantastic. Even just our, when we hosted band camp, more than a couple teachers said, man, you have great custodians. Rooms are set up, rooms are open before we get, we don't have to look for anybody. Everything's where it needs to be, so they were definitely impressed. But as you take a little walk around the buildings inside and out, we're definitely looking forward to kids being back. So the last item that I have pertains to the crosswalk out on North Shore, right in front of North Shore Middle School on KE North Shore Drive here. So I have been kind of keeping you guys up to date a little bit here and there. I had met with a group that was really spearheaded by the county. I think there were a number of concerned folks that reached out to the county and said, hey, what can we do about this crosswalk? And if you don't know, I mean, I've personally worked out there. I know Tina's been out there. It's dangerous. Like, we recognize that it's dangerous. We do have a crossing guard that will be staffed year round this year, especially with the changes to the pay to ride program. Some people expressed concerns. We said, nope, we understand. We're gonna make sure that it's staffed, not just for North Shore students crossing, but also students coming to the elementary school that are cutting through. So there'll be 2 basically shifts in both the morning and the afternoon to account for that student traffic. But in addition to that, we do recognize the fact that it's something we need to continue to look at. I don't know of any incidents of a vehicle striking a child, but I certainly don't want to wait until we have to deal with something in the worst case scenario realm before we start to act. So what Waukesha County did is they did some traffic pattern surveys. They looked at what other school zones have done that are similarly constructed, where we have a lot of things working against us here. We've got a hill, we've got a speed limit that is in excess, well, it's 45, but what they realized is the median speed is probably closer to 55, just based on the actual speed that cars are traveling coming into this. The other piece is we currently have a setup, like many school zones have, which provides the qualifier of when children are present. The problem with that is it's very, very hard to enforce, because what does a child being present constitute? Do they have to be standing at the sidewalk? Can they be playing 8 feet away? Do they have to be in the crosswalk? What does it really mean? So long story short, we had two different meetings with this group that was Waukesha County, the village, concerned parents, myself from the district, and over the course of those 2 meetings, the first meeting was basically let's everybody share concerns, let's get everything out on the table, and then the county said, okay, we're going to task some of our interns. They have a number of engineering interns here for the summer. They're going to do some site studies, and then as a group of interns, they're going to come up with a plan in conjunction with their engineering manager. So what they did is they put together the plan that I shared with you guys. Part of that plan is a 3-phased process. Obviously being safety conscious, but also fiscally sound, I said, well, let's start with what makes the most fiscal sense and see if that achieves the results that we want to achieve. And I'll share a little bit more about this actual proposal, but I want to talk a little bit about each phase of this project. Or I shouldn't say project, there is no project yet, but potential project. First phase would be updating the signage, adding some beacons. I'll talk more about that in specifics in just a second. The second phase is what the county kind of alluded to is we've got a roundabout project that's going to be happening in about 2 years. The second phase of this project that could potentially happen, again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. I don't want to make it sound like this is a done deal. There is no project yet, and the county made it very clear. We are in the very, very infancy stages of conversations of how this could look. The second phase would be infrastructure. A narrowing of the road, an island in the middle of that crosswalk. Right now, that crosswalk is about 60 feet, which is substantial, especially for someone with short legs. I can tell you, I have short legs, so. But if you got a 5-year-old that's trying to cross this crosswalk, it takes them a while. So by narrowing the road, it does 2 things really. One, obviously you're crossing a shorter distance, but 2, if you've noticed in urban areas, they start to narrow the road, naturally people start to slow down because of that pinch point. Also, by having an island there, they can cross about 20 feet, they can stop, they can look again, and they can cross another about 20 feet. So that really was kind of, in essence, phase 2. Now, if that were to come to fruition, the county said it probably makes logical sense to piggyback on an existing project. We enjoy some economies of scale, crews are here, equipment is here, costs come down. It's not cheap. I don't even want to start talking about numbers until we get a little bit closer to that, but neighborhood of about $200,000 is what they had thrown out. Again, just ballpark estimates. When we had the discussions, I said, you know what, let's see what phase 1 does, then we can talk about phase 2. There is a phase 3 as well that the engineering interns put together, which is a further scaled version of infrastructure changes that would span a greater distance in front of the middle school here. But again, I said, let's look at phase 1, see if phase 1 gives us the intended desired results. If it doesn't, we can talk about phase 2, so on and so forth. We're not gonna jump the gun here. If phase 2 were to ever come to any point of fruition, I was very clear that it would require a cost sharing. The district certainly isn't going to take on that type of project because we know that's a widely used crossing, not just for the school, but for the broader community. And our parents and community members identified that as well. So with the right cost sharing, I think it makes sense. But again, we're not there yet. What we're looking at doing now, in hopes to have this done, if not for day 1, but if not day 1, as soon as close to day 1 as we can conceivably get it done. And what would happen is we would take, and we would be replacing some signage. One, instead of having when children are present, what they found useful is placing school zone and 15 miles an hour and the times, because then it's much more easily enforceable. Hey, you were driving through a marked zone in the middle of a school zone at such and such a time. It's very definitive, it's not up for debate, it's just an easier, cleaner way. Additionally, it allows us to put in some beacons on each end of that zone so that it's very, very, again, not to say everyone's going to obey it, but it's gonna be hard to miss it. Right now, we just have those beacons right at the crosswalk itself. This would give more advanced warning so that hopefully by the time they got to that crosswalk, they would be entering the area at a reduced speed. This small project would be a partnership between us and the county. Right now, we have no agreement with the county for what's out there, which, based on what I was told, is very abnormal. So most of the time, when permits are pulled, at the very same time, some sort of an agreement is drafted. And that agreement would say like, hey, county will install, local municipality or local school district is responsible for ongoing maintenance. What they would like to do is the district would purchase the equipment, so the signage, the strobe lights, the beacons, all of that. County would do the installation. That would be their contribution to this small project. I believe the total was right around 7 and change. I have it here.
Yeah, I think it's 7.
Like $7,065.50. In addition to that, what I also sent to you guys is a draft of an agreement between us and the county. And what that agreement would cover, because there is no existing agreement, they drafted an agreement that would cover the existing equipment that's out there, the signage and beacons that are out there for the crosswalk right now, and the new equipment, signage, beacons that would be installed by the county. Again, very, very, very customary for the local, either school district or municipality, to have something on file that breaks down and really shows who has responsibility for what. I think it is personally, I think it's a no-brainer, if you're asking me personally. We run a school district with a $16+ million budget. I think $7,000 is, although it's a lot of money with respect to how much we spend, I think it's a no-brainer to spend in the effort of safety.
I agree, I think juice is worth the squeeze. What happens if a car hits our infrastructure?
We would have to replace it based on, and that is,
Insurance from
yeah.
the car.
So it's, if a car hits it, so like if we had to replace a battery, cause they do have, they have a solar panel, but they didn't charge batteries, obviously. If one of those were to die, so any ongoing maintenance, once it's installed, would become our responsibility.
Why would we be transferring the existing beacons to the district? Why not leave that and then pay for the new?
It's, I don't know that it's transferring. Right now, it's kind of a gray area where nobody really, this is a bad way to say it, but nobody really has a definitive answer. Whose responsibility is it? Obviously, the county wants it to be our responsibility. I mean, that's what they would like. In an effort to get it done, and get it done in a timely fashion, and having talked to some other districts that have done similar things, it's very customary, in a situation like this.
So where does the existing signage go then? Is that back to the district to be used elsewhere, or is that something that goes to the county?
The signage that's gonna be replaced.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about that at all.
So you said we have signage that's coming down, right, the signs and
They're
the speeds.
replacing the like when children are present signage with the new signage.
It's not something we could really reuse.
I don't think we have a need for it per se. Maybe. I don't know if it has a ton of, I don't know
I
if
wasn't
it's
sure
coming
what the
down.
investment was into it either, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I don't know if it has a ton of value.
Do you know where we can?
So I will add, not a single person who is sitting in this room, nor that has had any leadership involved in any of the decisions that went into that being put up are here today. So there's absolutely no way for any of us to know what that was, how much it was, what it looked like. I also will point us back to our board policy in that this is under the $10,000 limit. We brought it to you today because of the transparency piece. We
Yeah.
really wanted to ensure that our community watching understood that we are working on these pieces, that we do find this really important. We don't necessarily have to vote to approve this, as it falls under the realm of our ability to make that purchase and decision for safety reasons, any purchase under 10,000.
However, they would have to approve the agreement.
Yes, the
And we're entering into an agreement as a district, so, yeah.
Has anyone outside, legal reviewed the contract? Do you
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
normally?
Yep.
Did they have any issue with it saying North Shore Middle School and not Hartland-Lakeside School District?
None of my
That's where I was
questions.
going with it.
They didn't raise that concern, but I definitely, you're right, that probably should change. Again, this is just a draft of what they sent over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a deal stopper, but it's probably something we're just asking directly.
Like a
Hey, is this okay to have
Yeah,
it written as such, or should we just change it to Hartland-Lakeside School
Hartland-Lakeside
District?
I
It's
I mean-
probably safer, but.
well, it's illegal, yeah, probably use our legal name, yeah.
The only other question I have is on the long-term cost. Did they give us any history on battery replacement? There's the question on there of, I shouldn't say question, there's the 1-year software that's thrown in. What's the ongoing cost?
Yeah.
It might be under 7,000 today, but the long-term cost, I don't know what that is.
I don't have specifics at this time, but I'd be happy to gather those.
Okay. I'm guessing relative to the cost up front, it's probably small.
I'm guessing relative to that,
But
but
it's worth
what it
it.
is, yeah.
Okay.
Is it $100 a year? Is it $500? You know, like, yeah. Or what is to be expected. Totally get that. But that's something I can definitely reach back out to the county and have them run some numbers and pull that for me.
And that subscription just covers the cost of having that light go during timeframes, right?
Say that again.
Covering the lights during the timeframes it should be on, that's really all that subscription covers.
Yes, yeah, because
There's nothing else in there.
you have to be able to program it, and then you have to be able to change it for daylight savings time, you know.
So,
Yeah, we still have that.
fair minimal of that, it's.
And I guess the question that I have, as we all kind of sit here and talk through, if they're gonna pull all of that down, are they still gonna have the push buttons so that
Yes.
common traffic can
Yes.
take that? Oh, that's great.
Okay, nothing at the actual crossing is changing at this point.
It's just an
It's
add-on.
the signage on either end of the school zone.
And the additional beacon, right?
Yes. Yep, signage with a beacon.
Is there any concern that with the time provision that's identified for the sign, if we end up changing schedules in the future with transportation,
We just change this.
We just have to change the sign.
that would fall on us, correct?
Yeah.
It's our schedule, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure we have authority to do that, it's not something that
Just
the
make it on the cricket.
village or the county.
No, I mean, they asked me what times would you want on the
Okay, so
sign.
we have control.
Oh, yeah, cause they said they're like, we need to know when kids are going to be crossing, most likely, you know,
Okay.
that's, so I mean, I have, did I have the times in there? I don't know if I did.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Do we need it till 8:30?
Because of South.
Because of South,
But are there, is that, whatever.
I
think we-
erred on the.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I just wasn't sure if there was any walkers, cause is that 2 miles?
Oh, no, they
Oh,
walk.
no, they just walk, they
Yeah,
walk.
yeah, we get.
They cut through here a lot,
Okay, then good.
Yeah.
especially in nice weather.
Yeah, I would,
I was
absolutely
pleased
rather.
today, cause I'm trying to make my way out to all of the places to walk what our students would walk, and so today I was out up, I don't know, Sunny Hill or something up there, I crossed the walk and then went out over and then came back, and fun to see the kids out, right, like you can tell they're itching to kind of get back to school, some of you do, but I wanna believe that you just really wanna be here. But I was pleased that hitting the button, traffic slowed down, right? So I'm hopeful that people are maybe a little bit more aware, particularly when we start to think about e-bikes and some of that is so automatic that you know, we gotta make sure that we're keeping people safe, so
With that, I guess I would motion to approve the North Shore Crosswalk Safety Improvement Recommendation through TAPCO for the $7,065.50.
Second,
Does that leave out the agreement with the county? Or you,
It's part of the recommendation.
as part of the recommendation?
It is, and it,
maybe it should be stated clearly, just
Yeah.
add that.
so two-party agreement between Washington County and Hartland-Lakeside School District, which I would like to have that updated before signing. The rest of that agreement would stand as written, unless someone has reason for it to be changed otherwise, but, yeah, I think it makes sense to have, it between us and the school, the county and the school district itself. I do like that suggestion.
So do we either vote it down or amend, I guess, at
Just
this
let it
point?
die, just die and just redo it.
Yep, it's a lot easier.
All in favor?
All in favor?
No.
All opposed?
No.
No?
Alright, so,
Say yes or no.
just for record's sake, you motioned initially for what?
I read off C just for the approval of North Shore Middle School crosswalk safety improvements recommendation through
Tapco?
TAPCO, price of $7,065.
Let me see if I can copy and paste that, a lot
Yeah.
faster. Actually, we'll just grab that off the video.
And that was the exact same thing, and then add on the agreement with the county.
Hang on one second. Who seconded that original?
I did.
Word. Okay, now we're in clean motion zone. You want to make it?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the North Shore Middle School crosswalk safety improvement recommendation through TAPCO for the price of $7,065.50, as well as entering into an agreement with the county.
What was the amount? I can't type that fast, I'm trying.
$7,000.
Seven what?
$7,065.50.
And 30 cents?
50.
All in favor?
Oh, I have to, someone has to second it. I
I already
second.
did.
I did the
Oh,
first one.
Got it. On you now.
I second. Now we
Ready?
vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You guys are gonna get this.
I know, eventually, we'll get it. We're gonna get these signs for us too.
I think this makes
Yeah, that's.
logical sense.
Well, and I think it's gonna help having the crosswalk or crossing guard all the time too.
Chris, did you actually have it, the
Matt.
with the updated?
When I get this updated, I'm gonna reach out to you and try to get a signature on it
No problem.
sooner than later.
I'm right around the way.
You just run over.
You betcha.
That is all I have.
Perfect, thank you, Patrick.
You're very welcome.
Board president report. Just wanted to get an extra shout out to you guys this summer. I got to watch the staff, admin, work from a different capacity over here and how many power outages, storms. Skyward was down for almost the entire summer, it seemed like, and nothing missed a beat. So kudos to you, hitting all the milestones, getting the kids ready, for school. All the work happened in the off season. I have to relate everything to sports, and it's like you guys, you guys killed it this summer, so that was awesome.
Thank you.
September, I am unfortunately not gonna be able to make the meeting, and I didn't wanna ask Tina to do everything we spoke about in PPC with trying to get kids back, so you're gonna be out for running the meeting. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. So future meetings, we got PPC, September 14th at 5. We have finance, September 14th at 8:30 a.m. And then, the budget hearing, annual school board meeting is Monday, September 21st at 5:30.
With a school board meeting immediately following.
Yep, that's right, that's correct.
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:53.
I was letting him catch up, but he beat me to it. Motion to adjourn at 6:53.
Second. Oh, got it. Almost beat left.
Or,
Huh?
We gotta vote to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did you have a second?
I did.
I was worried about that 15 minutes from last year.
I think we weren't we 45?
So there's me.
That's who it was.
Well, cause it was out, that's why I couldn't bring it back.